Batista. I'm here with head wrestling coach Eric Supple. Eric, how are you?
Well, how are you doing, Dana?
I'm doing great. Today we're going to talk a little bit about preseason preview of the wrestling team and get a little bit of background on Eric and tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll talk a little bit about the team. Eric, what's your wrestling background?
So I've wrestled for somewhere around 14 years, essentially since I started high school. I started like a lot of other kids. There was a spot on varsity open, so I got out there and got after it and ended up sticking around, caught on with Dave here, and it's been great for me.
Great. So this is the first year as head coach?
This is my first year as head coach, but I've been coaching at Pembroke since the school started. I started with Dave here when he started in 2004, and I've had some spaces in between. I was in the military, so I missed a couple years here and there, but I've been here for the duration of the program, and as soon as I got out of the military, Pembroke Wrestling was one of my top priorities.
Great. Great. So I know you have a meet coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So how's the preseason gone so far, your 2 weeks heading up into it?
Our first 2 weeks of the season have been very productive. Everybody's worked very hard at practice. We've had our highest percentage of athletes participating every day at practice that we've ever had. It's been very impressive. Very little sickness compared to what we've dealt with the last couple of years, and everybody's stayed healthy too. So those are the very important things. Everybody's working hard, and we're going to continue to improve. What
I know for those of you that followed Pembroke Wrestling, it's been a very, very successful program over the years with, numerous Patriot League titles and state titles and sectional titles. Who are some of the kids that are coming back from last year's team that's really going to help you out this year?
We graduated 4 wrestlers last year off of our team, so there's 14 spots on the varsity wrestling squad, and so we'll be returning essentially 10 wrestlers from last year back into varsity spots. But even a lot of the wrestlers that are going to be filling in those 4 positions already had varsity experience. Coach Vining, who recently retired, and myself, have always taken any opportunity we have. If we're wrestling maybe a weaker team, or if we have an opportunity to get a JV guy in there and get a varsity guy a rest, we take those opportunities, and it really has given our JV squad a lot of experience. Particularly our big returning performers this year, starting right up from the bottom, our little guys, Stephen Vercoloni, Brandon Itt, and John McBurney. These guys are juniors. They're all very good wrestlers. They've all, John and Stephen in particular, have been wrestling for a long time. They've been in the Pembroke Youth Wrestling Program. And they're all expected to do big things for us this year. Stephen is one of our 2 returning state placers, having finished 7th at the state tournament last year. Moving up from that, Anthony Amatucci at possibly 138 or 145 pounds. We don't know how those things will shake out quite yet, but he's going to be returning for us. He's also one of our 4 captains. Anthony's a senior. He's a great wrestler. He's worked very hard in the off season, and you can really see how his wrestling has improved, even though he's missed large portions of the last 2 years due to injury. At 145, or 138 again, Cameron Doobie's going to be filling the other spot. He's one of those guys, as I was talking about before, who has been on JV regularly the last couple of years, but has really gotten a good deal of varsity experience. So he's going to step on the mat this year for his first full-time year on varsity, but he will have already had a lot of experience. Moving up, Ian Horkin at 152. He was a captain. He's a returning captain from last year. He's a 2-time state placer. Last year he was a match away from placing at all states, and he had a lot of very difficult matches last year. He had a very tough schedule. He finished with a record of 44-10, wrestling 8 of the top 10 kids in the state along the way. It's really going to prove fruitful for him this year. He's really improved a lot his wrestling skills. He's always been a great athlete, and he's always been a hard worker, but now he's a little bit of a wrestler. At 170, we have Nick Gerard returning. Nick was a sectional finalist last year in his first year on varsity, and we really expect big things as far as jump from him. We think he's one of our guys that can really, come out, surprise some people, and he's going to beat some teams that didn't expect him to be there, which is always huge in a dual meet. That's one of the things you really need to win. You can't just win the matches that you know you're going to win.
Right.
At 182, we're going to have Justin McKinney. He's another of our captains. Justin's the spark plug on the team. Justin, for anybody who knows him, is he's a talker, and he always keeps his mouth moving. But he's an excellent kid, and he's an extremely hard worker. And he unfortunately missed all of last year due to injury. And we had expected him. He was a sectional finalist as a sophomore, and we had expected him to be a state finalist last year. And he had demonstrated the ability to do that. And even moving up to Division II this year and having missed the whole year, we still think he's going to be right there. He's that hard of a worker, and he's that talented of a wrestler. Eddie Hain, not quite sure where he's going to fit in right now. He's probably going to be at 195 or 220.
Yep.
Another one of our captains. Again, Eddie's been a 3-year wrestler for us on varsity. He's a 2-time sectional finalist. Still hasn't got his name up on the banner yet, but we know he's really close. Again, I mean, I keep repeating the same things, but it's the kind of kids we have at Pembroke. Really hard workers, great attitudes, and Eddie's just another one of those kids. He's been a hard worker for us, and he really took one for the team last year, being sick and injured most of the year, and he came back for us at sectionals, knowing he wasn't at 100% because we needed him for the team. And that's just the kind of kid Eddie is, and that's the kind of thing he does for the team. 195, possibly our most talented wrestler is Brendan Benoit. Brendan wrestling is his main sport, and we don't really get that a lot at Pembroke. There's a number of great athletic programs here, and we certainly encourage everybody to participate in as many other sports as you can. I think any other participation makes the athletes better at wrestling or anything else they're doing. So we certainly never shy them away from doing anything like that. But Brendan is really focused on wrestling, and he wrestled across the country over the off season. He wrestled a number of nationally ranked opponents and fared well against some of them. He's going to be very dangerous this year, and we're really looking for him to maybe even go past the state level and maybe even break into New England's this year.
Yep.
So we expect him to be very successful at Division II, and then. That'll be really our last returner. We're gonna have younger kids up filling up the top and the bottom of the lineups this year, as we lost our heavyweight and 106 state champ.
Sure. Yeah. Tell me a little bit. I know you have somebody new who's kind of. I developed a relationship with him because he worked with me in the athletic office last year, and that's Arackley. I think he's new to the program and. Heavyweight or something along that line?
Yeah, Arackley is going to slot in at heavyweight, 100%. He's pretty much got the spot locked up, and he's shown the ability to come in and work hard and complete the practice. And I know he hasn't done physical activity quite like we do at practice before, so it's been a little difficult for him. But he's been a trooper. He's gotten through it, and he's getting better. You can already see him, kind of slimming down, and he's getting his win. And if he keeps working hard, that's one of those weight classes right at the top and right at the bottom. You can really do a lot just by working hard and having a little wind at the end of matches. Those are typically weight classes where we're able, as a team, historically, we've been able to get wrestlers and within the first year have them even placing at sectionals, just generally because of how the weight classes shake out.
That's
so
great.
Hopefully it works out again.
How's the league look for you? And I know there's some pretty tough opponents in there with Hingham, and where do you think you're going to fit in with that? And do you think it's possible to grab another Patriot League title?
Paul Caniff, the coach over at Hingham's, being pretty secretive, so I don't know. We're actually pretty close, but he hasn't told me much this year. We know some of their guys. We know they're very strong up top, but that's where we're very strong too. Mm-hmm. So they had 3 state finalists last year, and 170, 82, and 95, and those kids are all back this year, and they're all going to be very good again. But that's their strength against our strength, and I'll take that any day of the week. As for the rest of their lineup, I know they graduated more than we did. Mm-hmm. they graduated a greater number of wrestlers, but of course they're working with close to 40 members on their team, whereas we're closer to 20.
Yeah.
So they have the guys to fill in. Pembroke's always been able to do it. We've done it with small numbers, and we make sure our guys are well trained to go out there and wrestle well, and they work hard and they do their part. And I think we're set up as well as any team in the league to compete for a title.
It's great. Well, I know that we only have 2 home matches this year, so anybody who's watching, I tell you to come on down and watch the wrestlers. They're an exciting group. Been one of the most dominant groups here. Yourself in cross country and track over the span of the time we've been open here. So that's Eric Supple. Thank you, Eric. I'm Dana Batista, and that was the wrestling preview.
Hi, I'm Corey Brennan. I'm here with Coach Brian King of the Pembroke girls basketball team. And how long have you been coaching at Pembroke?
This is my second year as the varsity girls basketball coach.
How's preseason going so far?
Preseason's been great. It's all the girls are competing. We have the girls now down to 3 teams: varsity, JV, and freshmen, and all levels are all competing.
How do you foresee the team doing this year?
Our goal this year is we came right out with it. We set the goal as making the tournament. We feel that we have enough competitors, we have enough people that have bought into the system, and that our goal is to make the state tournament.
Awesome. Who are the captains of the squad?
2 returning captains, Mel Johnson and Katie McGilligot, and a new captain for us this year is Katie Flaherty.
Awesome. Do you have any other notable returners, and who are some of the new faces on the team?
Some notable returners would be Sam McGibbon. She played a lot for us last year at varsity. She's a sophomore. Another returner would be Liz Foy. She's another sophomore. She played a lot for us last year. Katie Lamar. So we have a lot of returning players. We only lost 3 seniors from last year, so we have a lot of returners.
That's great. And how do you think the team's going to do against the league?
Well, the league is strong. It's always been competitive. Duxbury is going to be strong again. Scituate will be good. So not to go through every single team, but it's going to be very competitive, very strong league.
That's great. Hopefully you guys do well.
Thank you, Corey.
I'm here with boys varsity basketball coach Will Seward. Will, how are you today?
Great.
Great.
Everything's great.
Today we're going to have a little preview of the upcoming season. And before we do that, you want to tell us a little bit about your coaching background and how long you've been here at Pembroke? And
This is my 4th year here at Pembroke. Before that, I volunteered for a year in Scituate, and before that I coached college basketball for 6 years at 3 different schools.
Oh, that's exciting. So we've been at practice 2 weeks now. You've had 1 scrimmage. How do you see the season so far, and how is it progressing? And I know you have a scrimmage today with Cohasset, so what do you think so far?
So far so good. 2 weeks in, I think we're excited about the blend of returners and newcomers that we have in our program. I think anytime you have a team that has a lot of seniors, senior laden, but also some youth on it, I think you have a formula to have some success. So we're excited about the blend of our older kids on our team along with the younger kids we have coming up.
Sure. Who are some of those key returners from last year, and who are the captains?
Well, specifically, if we would talk captains, Kenny Blasser, Tim Quigg, Joe Colangeli, and Dan Shaheen. Both Kenny and Tim have a lot of experience. Both have played on the varsity since they were sophomores. We have some juniors, Kyle Horn, who played a lot for us last year as a sophomore, and then we have some sophomores, Drew Norton and Vince Mitchell, who both midway through their freshman year moved up to the varsity and got some significant minutes. So, we've seen a good blend of those sophomores, our juniors, and those returning seniors blend together well.
Do you have any new faces that have arrived on the scene? Or?
We have several new kids on the varsity. Joe and Dan are on the varsity. Dan was a swing player last year. Joe was on it for the first time, and he'll see some significant minutes. We have 2 other juniors, Pete Koner and Tim Curley, who are on the varsity for the first time, and I think they've worked themselves well into the rotation. And then we have 2 other juniors who were swing players last year, Steve McCormick and Nick Smith, who should be working their way into the rotation as well. So I think we have some good options from that sophomore through senior class.
Oh, that's great. I know, last year was a little bit of a struggle, for the team, and maybe you can talk a little bit about, your coaching style and philosophy. I can tell you from just watching you and watching your practices, you coach the same way the first practice to the last practice of the year, and you're a pretty high tempo, upbeat coach, and that I think that style is excellent here at Pembroke. Maybe you can talk a little bit about your coaching philosophy and style.
Yeah, well, I think if we just reflected on last year, we obviously struggled, and I think that was difficult. But I think as an educator, you always try to find, okay, where's our learning experience here? And I think the kids who stayed with it the entire year and really bought in, all of them are back this year. And I think because of the experiences we had last year and the way that they handled them, I really think they're going to see some success this year in the way that we're going now. So, from a style standpoint, I think we've always wanted to be a defense-first team. If you're able to defend your own end, and we've considered it kind of our basket, not just guarding your man, you're kind of defending our basket, you're able to get out in transition and create a lot of quality offensive opportunities without having to set up in the half court. So I think defense first, but certainly looking to push the ball in transition off a defensive rebound is a must for us.
Like I said, I think I've stolen some of your, not drills, obviously I coached the girls hockey team, but on the competitive side of it, you do a lot of that in practice, make it very competitive for the kids. And you're doing like a two-point drill the other day or something like that, and the kids were really high tempo into that.
Yeah, I think we found creating competition in practice is a healthy thing, because that really you see it come out in the game. And so I've always found, kids play a ton of basketball now, and sometimes the competition aspect gets lost with, they play 150 AAU games in the off season, and, when you get to your regular season, sometimes they think, this is just another game. So, when we've created the competitive atmosphere in practice, really just playing 2- and 3-point games, every point is important, every defensive possession is important, every offensive possession is important. So, really trying to eliminate turnovers and lost possessions early in practice, where they're like, oh, it's okay, I got another one. We try to make those all really, really important every time that we have the ball, so that we're focused on valuing the basketball when we have it.
That's great. Before we end this up, you want to tell me a little bit about your non-league schedule, and then how the Patriot League looks this year, heading into 2013-14.
Yeah, our non-league schedule we've changed it a little bit this year. We're in a Christmas tournament for the first time in my 4 years in Weston, which I think will be a great opportunity for us to play some teams we haven't seen before. We play Coyle Cassidy again twice, who we've played the last 3 years. We play Sturgis Charter School twice from down in Hyannis. And we're also playing Duxbury a second time non-league, and we're playing Cash, which is a team from the city, used to be the old Hyde Park High School. So I think we have a good variety. I've always tried to schedule non-league games that prepare us for the Patriot League, because the Patriot League, I think, is very competitive. And in the Patriot League this year, on our side, I think Scituate and North Quincy will be very tough. On the bigger side, I think Whitman-Hanson, Silver Lake, those two probably will stand out a little bit. But, we've always had a lot of parity in the Patriot League, so it's going to be an exciting year for us.
That's awesome. That is the boys basketball preview. Good luck, Will.
Thank you.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
I'm here with Brian Noyes, swimming coach at Pembroke High School. Brian, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Today we're going to do a little bit of a preview of the team, and you can tell me a little bit about what's going on and tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into swimming and becoming a swimming coach, and how long have you been here at Pembroke?
This is my 8th full season, and I started coaching swimming in 99 in Duxbury with the Aqueducts kids, and progressed to the Kingsbury Club Masters swimming, and had competed in triathlons for a few years. So was in the right place at the right time for the job, and so looking forward to the 8th season. We got a great bunch of kids. The boys are looking solid again. They'll be competitive in most of their meets. There's some very tough teams out there like Duxbury and kids that swim year-round. So we have a couple kids who do that. 2 of our captains, Andrew Salas and Dan Sheehan. They swim year-round with Mask in Marshfield, so they do very well. And we have a new superstar in the making, a freshman, Brendan Farrell, who will do very well. I'm looking forward to having him compete and maybe do some great things. Certainly down the line, if not this year.
That's great. I know you have a meet today. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about, so is it girls swimming with boys? Is it boys and girls swimming? How is it, listed with the MIA, and is it a co-ed team? What would
It's
somebody-
not co-ed. It's the boys and the girls swimming alternating events. So it's two separate meets. We have had co-ed meets with different teams. Sacred Heart, we did a co-ed meet, and that's fun. But no, it's two separate teams, and they alternate. So it actually gives them a break to rest while the girls swim, the boys rest, and vice versa. So
Okay. So you've been at this, 2 weeks now? What you're opening
Week and
up
a half,
today.
yep.
How's the team look so far?
We have a group. The girls have a small group of new swimmers, and I'm excited about that. Brand new swimmers taking on swimming for the first time, which is great. That's not easy to do. Most people come up with a little bit of a background, so I'm really proud of those girls for sticking with it, and they'll be here hopefully for the next 3 or 4 years. There's one junior and I believe 3 new freshmen and sophomore as well. So 5 new girls and a returning group. We have captains Emma Musette, who's a versatile swimmer, can do all the strokes. Sam Lyons and Anna McCormick, and great group of girls who really get along well together and enjoy the swimming.
I know that there's been some interest in diving, and you practice at two different facilities or one? You practice at Kingsbury?
Just at Kingsbury Club.
Yeah.
They have no diving there. They have 8 lanes, which is great, but and we use half the pool, but no diving. So.
So you practice over at Kingsbury, and then your meets are at?
Our home meets mostly are at Percy Walker School in Duxbury because they have a diving board, and it's kind of designed better for meets because it's the 6 lanes are bordered.
Sure.
So you can walk around the pool and the judges as well. It's easier for them. So we do have a meet next week, a non-league meet against Old Rochester at Kingsbury, and not a perfect pool, but it works, gets the job done.
No, I know a lot of people that I've been to swim meets, and it's not highly attended. So when they go to Kingsbury or they go to Percy Walker, is there a place for them to sit? Do they go out on the pool deck? Where do they view this?
The kids or the spectators?
Spectators.
Spectators, there is a bleacher area for them, so there's room for parents, and usually we're taking half of them off the bench to help out timing. We need a lot of volunteers at the events, parents or kids, but yeah, if the fans come out, the kids or parents, and there's enough room there for seating where Kingsbury does not have that.
Right,
so they have to bring their own chairs or stand up. So.
Sure. I know, I've been to, like I said, been to a few matches and it's actually very exciting. It's something fun to watch if you haven't seen it, and I think that you can probably speak to it, how demanding the sport really is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. That's why I'm encouraged by those young girls coming in swimming for the first time and taking that on. And sure, we can have a meet where we're not going to be competitive, such as Duxbury, but we might have a couple events where we can compete, and there'll be some really tight races. And even when the event is coming down to the last 2 or 3 swimmers, that can be important in some of the meets where just finishing 4th or 5th can be important and just as exciting as the swimmers racing for 1st or 2nd.
Sure. And what's the long race, the one that I see?
The 500 freestyle is the longest race.
And how many laps of the pool
That's
is that?
20 lengths.
That's pretty amazing.
So it's intimidating. We've had kids, entered in it, and they all get disgruntled and mad at me, but then they try it and they realize, hey, that's not that bad. It's a much slower pace.
Yeah.
Whereas the 100 freestyle, sure, it's shorter, but it's you got to go fast.
Right,
so, certain swimmers will figure it out. Like I like the distance events, or I like the 50 free, and that's the ones they kind of stick with.
Sure. Do you have anybody else, returners you may want to mention, or somebody else that maybe they're going to be seen in the newspaper? We'll hear their name around the school
we got
at all?
some of the boys are solid who are coming back. Grant McDonald, or the other captain for the boys. Drew Latwis is very solid. Can do all the strokes. Matt Crakey. For the girls, Erin Morley. She's versatile. Can do all the strokes for us. Wants to. She set a goal last year as a freshman to qualify in the 100. Butterfly, I believe. She wants to make sectionals time, and she'll have to work hard, and maybe that'll come around in her next year or two. keeps working hard.
Great. And how how's the league look? I know you spoke highly of Duxbury, and I've known in the past they have a really good program. Who else is going to be real competitive, and where do you see you fitting in the league?
Let's see, Hingham's always solid. Some of these teams that come from year-round programs with town pools and such.
Now, is Situate still co-opt with Cohasset?
No, they're not.
They branched off.
Cohasset is not in the league.
Yeah.
Rockland, it's almost confusing. Hanover's in the league, Rockland's not. We may do a non-league meet with Rockland later on. Some of the teams were broken up for whatever reasons. And so who knows? Who knows how we'll do with some of those teams now, competitive-wise. And, most importantly, the kids come out and have fun. And, if we can pull off a meet or two, that's even more fun.
Excellent. Like I said, if you get a chance, swing on down to the pool. It really is. They start about 4 o'clock, and the meets usually get done about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock if there's diving, and
It's really good. So that's Brian Noyes, swim coach, and that's the swimming preview. I'm here with head girls hockey coach, Bill Flynn. Bill, how are you?
Good, and you, Dana?
Good. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the girls hockey season and what's going to go on. And first of all, how long have you been the head coach at Pembroke?
It's the second year that I've been the coach of both the girls, and we have girls from Whitman Hanson, so it's a co-op program.
So, if you didn't know, we are co-opted with Whitman Hanson, so we have girls from both schools. And this has been something I think been going on for
I think it's been 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years. Good. How is the preseason going so far?
So far, I've been pretty good. We've had 5 scrimmages. We've been pretty dominant in the 5 scrimmages. We've kind of scored goals at will. But we still need a lot of work to do as far as getting ready. We have our first game coming up this week against a tough Hingham opponent, Division I team. So far so good, but we still have a lot of work to do, a long way to go.
And what do the numbers look like for the
We have 17 girls from Pembroke and 8 girls from Whitman Hanson, variously spaced out throughout the age group. I think we have 3 seniors from Pembroke and 1 from Whitman Hanson, so only a total of 4 seniors, so we have a lot of young girls.
What are your expectations heading into the season, and how do you see how the season looks? With the league, I think you switched leagues. So what do you see coming up for the 2010?
Well, we moved out of the Coastal Division and moved into the Northeast Division, and obviously looking at trying to finish first or second place in the league with aspirations of finishing first. We are obviously missing the tournament last year by 1 point with a tremendous turnaround from the year before that, where the girls only had about 2 wins. So moving forward, looking for a first place finish to start with and a tournament berth into this Mass State tournament.
Who do you see as some tough opponents in the new league that you're in?
I think our main competition in the new league would be someone like a Norwell. We're also going to be playing teams like Quincy, King Philip, Situate, Hanover, Cohasset, who is also a co-op. But I think Norwell could probably be our main competition.
Sure. So that means you got away from Duxbury and Barnstable and Falmouth, those bigger type of schools are more predominantly, powerful schools. You still playing them, or
Yeah, we agreed when we moved that we still wanted to play the Duxburys and the Barnstables. We're going to play them all each. The Coastal Division, we're going to play them each one time.
So that doesn't count against your league?
Not against our league, but it does count in our overall schedule.
Okay.
And our overall record towards the tournament.
Sure. Who are some key returners you have from last year's group?
2 captains, both from Pembroke, Jane Morissette and Michaela McIsaac. Jane was our leading point scorer last year. Michaela is a hard-working forward, right wing. And on the Whitman Hanson side, our goalie coming back is Jessica Boney. She'll be a senior, and those are our old, and also a senior, Maddie Reardon, will be part of the defense this year.
Sure. I just obviously helping you out a little bit. Who are some new arrivals on the scene this year that really could help the team?
From Pembroke, a girl by the name of Jackie DiPietro is a freshman who has a lot of skill. She's going to be playing on the wing, actually, with Michaela on her line. Also a girl from Whitman Hanson, Melanie McAleer, a tremendous talent, who will be playing with Jane on her line. And another girl, freshman over at Whitman Hanson, Hannah Tracy, who's going to see some time with one of our sophomores, Shea Cody.
Great. Good. Kind of wrapping it up here, where do you see someone like a Jane playing in the future? I got to see her play for 3 years now, and she's a pretty good player. I mean, she's a very talented player, and where do you foresee her ending up?
I think Jane has the talent to play almost anywhere she wants. When she puts her mind to it, Jane can be as good as anybody on the ice. She has aspirations that I know that she wants to play in college, and she is going to play in college, and she'll be able to do pretty much what she wants to do if she keeps her head on it and working hard.
Great. I'm Dana Batista. That's Bill Flynn, and that was the girls hockey preview.
Welcome. I'm here with Mark Duffy, the hockey coach here at Pembroke High School. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
How long have you been a coach here at Pembroke?
I'm entering my 10th season. When the school district split from Silver Lake Regional School District, I came over to Pembroke and began in that year, which was 04, and entering my 10th season.
That's great. I've been playing for Coach for 4 years now. It's been great experience.
Thank you, Schaefer.
So, how has the preseason gone so far?
It's been an interesting preseason. We graduated 11 to 12 players last year. I think we've got a lot of new faces in the program that are very anxious to get going. We have a very strong core of returning players, and so far in our scrimmages and practices and tryouts, we've seen a lot of great things. So it's an exciting opportunity for a lot of the newer guys, and I think the leadership we're already seeing from our returning players has really stood out, and we're ready to go. We're ready to get started this Saturday against Oliver Ames.
How do you foresee the team doing this year?
We'll be very competitive. I think that's why we play the games. We take it one game at a time, one shift at a time, one period at a time, and we break our schedule into quarters. We've got a 5-game schedule the way we're looking at it as we get out of the gate. We've got to be 500 or better to qualify for the state tournament, and I think we'll be very competitive in the league and our non-league games as well.
That's great. Who are some of the returners this year?
We have yourself, Mr. Schaaf, back on D, Danny Shea, Matt Benting, Mike Stasinski, Jackson Wainwright. I think I hit everybody for returning players, and we've got a lot of new faces as well.
Who are those any exciting new freshmen you like?
You know what? We've got a lot of new players, at least in terms of varsity hockey. A lot of guys that have been in the program, a lot of guys that have played junior varsity for us that Coach Flynn and Coach Daniels have developed at the JV level, and some newcomers as well. And some of the new faces that I think you'll see make an impact at the varsity level, Judkins, Simpson, Berolini, Jonesy. I think there's some good young new faces that are going to make a splash this winter for the program.
And how does the league look this year? We just moved up to Division II.
Yeah, serious challenge for us. I think this year's schedule, our non-league schedule, is arguably the toughest schedule we've put together on paper. In terms of league play, Patriot League year in and year out is just a battle. And I think the benefit of playing in this league is we're battle tested if we can qualify for the state tournament. We are ready to face any foe just because of the strength of schedule we play within our league. So we're looking forward to another season, and can't wait for Saturday.
I know I'm excited myself, so thank you.
Excellent. Thanks.